Yes, 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 yes. We are here. 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 We want to keep saying this until almost to the point where the vehicle wants to cry, because we are truly, truly, truly are here. And we want to reassure everyone who is feeling so dense and despair and concern and worry and losing hope and feeling so overwhelmed with not much progress from your perspective. We are here. We are here. We are here. We are here.
Thank you so much for joining us again today. We have concerns about the density here on the ground and how people are doing in general, mentally and physically and spiritually. And we wanted to ask for your help with that. Can you first help explain what is going on with the density that's being sensed?
Yes, indeed. The density is being sensed because they've had some highs. So they've had some emotional highs of a celebration of a new year and new hope. They're having an emotional reaction to farewelling the year that has passed. For many, that has been very challenging and taxing, and they keep having hope that new adventures and new experiences must occur, because there is nothing more denser and horrific from many people's perspective from the year that has passed from your perspective. And so many people have been finding communities and supporting each other that way through one belief system of one awakening. You have a division on your planet right now. You have those who are pro one experience and anti another, and there is division and there is friction between them. You perceive that those who are pro one thing must be full of density and off purpose. And that's not always the case. They are serving those who are anti lessons to step up and strengthen yourselves. Remember, it's not going to kill you to speak your truth. It is not going to kill you to find unity and to be able to speak your voice and your words. Knowing the difference between yelling and being irate versus articulate, compassionate, and coming from a very grounded, neutral position. You can have strength in your belief. But as soon as you lose your composure, as soon as you get heated and flustered, the conversation will cease to be able to be something that can expand and to be learned and grown from the perspective you actually want. Much here on your planet is about intensive connections and experiences. Even that conflict is significant, because you're learning how it feels to be oppressed one which way. We see great growth, but as many are still struggling to understand what their truth is, to understand what side they are on, and to be able to find through their moral compass what's right for them and what makes sense for them. Everyone's making choices what side they are on. Please do not make that lazy assumption that those on either one side or the other will ascend and the other side will not. That is not the case here. It is simply an illusion, a judgmental illusion. We understand that those people who are angry and following the narrative, they must do so because some of those are part of their life contracts. It is hard and almost nearly impossible for a human to be able to use their intuition to know other people's life contracts. This is part of the mystery. This is part of the game. This is important for you to be able to trust that with love and knowing clarity within your heart and within your mind, your own truth, you will be able to move forward. Remember, the lessons that you will be presented on a daily basis are all for you to overcome. Learn from them, feel how you could improve yourself and your responses and your reactions, knowing that each day, each new chance of a conversation is going to give you another new chance to be able to master your own reactions. We all know that the older versions of you would have broken down in anger and been much more feisty. However, you've all matured to be able to know the difference between losing one's mind and being able to gain one's integrity as you are sharing your truths of what you are doing with your bodies, with your minds, and with your belief systems. Truly, this is a time for humanity to empower itself and strengthen itself, to be able to not be twisted into someone else's belief system, to be not coerced into something else that doesn't serve you. You have to truly stand up as each individual person to be able to hold true your own morals. And this is very challenging because it will take you out of your lifestyle, potentially if you are being threatened with jobs, threatened with living environments. We understand the challenges, but you've put these challenges in front of you to be able to overcome and master. We are here to support you.
I hear you, and I certainly respect your very high level perspective on this and all things. I'm worried about people who are scared and confused and lost, and it feels like they're drowning. Is there anything we can do to help anyone who's feeling anything along those lines?
Give them a lifeline. If they're drowning, we try to ask them to get out of the pool. We want to lighten the mood because we do know that there are many people that do not understand that the pool that they are drowning in their perception, is merely just a toddler's paddling pool. Once you stand up from that toddler's paddling pool, you will realize you are much bigger than the pool that you are perceived as drowning you. It is perception. It is merely your mindset perceiving that it is even possible to drown in your environment when it is so shallow. You would have to work very hard to actually let that occur, because we are here. We are your lifeguards. But you have to have that illusion that you could potentially drown to be motivated to realize what your true scenarios and situations are. In all honesty, you're not in the ocean, very far from land. You're merely in a children's paddling pool, splashing around and getting carried away. We understand that we have a very advanced perspective of this because we know your lives here are merely one of many that you have had, and one of many you can have more. We're not saying that we're not risking your lives and ignoring you. We're telling you the real, true reality and perspective of their illusions. You know this, you feel this, and sometimes you also want to have a dip in the pool. And it is fine. We are not judging you. But when you remember the bigger perspective, that it is merely but a game, you will be able to remind with much love to others that you love them. You are there for them and you will support them. When they are hyper-focused on that 5 mils of water, you are able to distract them with something else that is more positive. They have been truly in much harder waters. It is challenging, but it is possible for you to navigate the most fixated person on that a small amount of water. Everyone is capable of doing much more. If their jobs are being challenged, they have new opportunities. Remember, people do not like change. And if currently now they're indulging in negativity, that is also a change that they may not be interested in removing themselves from. Help them understand that there is change of perception, that it will give them greater peace and joy. But it is about talking to them and sowing those seeds of positivity, hope, encouragement, the greater perspective, and reminding them of your belief and the proof that is out there about reincarnation.
Is humanity stuck in like idling in the lazy river when we should be swimming? Because and I don't mean that in a judgmental way, but it respectfully, it feels like we're swimming but not actually moving.
From our perspective, we could say that humanity is trying to collect that 5 mils of water and trying to convince to convince us it is the Atlantic Ocean. And so humanity is too distracted with complaining about humanity's lessons and experiences to be aware it can profoundly empower itself if it's honest with itself and be able to be accountable for its own actions. It's doing this to itself from our perspective. But we understand that this is way too high a perspective, that it is triggering people because we're not acknowledging emotions. And so we can say, when you are playing with the emotions, when those emotions feel very, very real, and you're allowing yourself to constantly focus on those emotions, yes, you will be creating those emotions. You will be creating that reality of those emotions to convince yourself that that 15 mils of water will drown you, and you're still here wondering why you haven't been flooded in yet. So we want to apologize for those people who are so shocked and so dismayed that we are making jokes of a child's paddling pool, but this was the best analogy to be able to remind you, you are not drowning, you are merely evolving. You are merely advancing. But what encourages change? Aggravation sometimes can encourage change. Being bothered with being pressurized into a new way of life will create change one way or another. And we are pressurizing people so much to be able to force them independently with their free will into change.
Are we waiting for, let me rephrase that, is the next step for humanity to become visibly vocal and stop the systems and just say, I'm no longer playing this game, and standing up for themselves and more things such as the worldwide peace rallies?
It is on an individual level, people needing to know their truth and be proud of their truth and honor their own truth. And that does look quite different for many people. For everyone, it will look different what your truths are. So once humanity can awaken to what their truth is, in terms of what their own natural personal belief system is, it's not something that you've read in the news, and it's not something that you have seen online. It is your own true belief systems and your own connection to self to know who you are. And we're not talking about at a soul level with all of your other life histories. It is about what you, for example, Erin, what you morally can tolerate and cope with, accept and not accept. Where is your boundaries? Where is your limits? While you are not judgmental and you try very hard not to be, sometimes when you allow things that may not be serving you to go on and continue, you are enabling certain things when you know that you need to speak your truth and stand up to these things, to not to have conflict, but to confront. Sometimes it's hard, and many people don't want to confront and speak their truths because it feels like it is going to be an argument, or it does feel like that encourages and endorses conflict. You're afraid of conflict. And this is very understandable. Conflict is not nice. But as we said earlier, the way that you conduct oneself in a conversation to hold the truth and integrity of oneself, you can do it in the most kindest of ways. And that is mastering, sharing your truth, and loving all.
10-4. I'm with you. I understand. I wanted to ask for more help, dear Santa. Can we get some help with the people who are spiraling? Can we ask their teams to unspiral them and move them in a positive direction, or become more optimistic, or question what's actually going on?
We will call in what you would be calling the collectives to be able to help assist you today with that, because they know who needs to be spiraling for them to realize that 15 mils of water in true honesty is something that they can completely master. And then there are others that are sitting beside their friends, not even in the pool, spiraling with them in support. It is natural for you all to want to stick together, even though only a few of you are merely even close to the water of the swimming pool, and many of you are supporters and all still spiraling. And we say this with much love because our observations for your behaviors and how you communicate with each other truly does come from a supportive approach. However, you are all having the negative approach of worry and fear. And this is something we would like humanity to not focus on as much. You all support each other in misery. You all support each other in tragedy. This is when humanity does come together in a most profound way and drops all judgment of each other to be able to have some experience, some bigger event that makes you all have unity in experiencing the same emotions of a certain event. So we are calling on the collectives now. Yes, yes, indeed. This is the subconscious here to explain that that was a very advanced higher self coming in to give the most advanced perspective of what is happening to this planet. And we understand that it is so comfortable with its own reality and its own dimension. It is not bothering itself with the small details that humanity does, because it knows better. It knows that worrying about certain densities and certain smaller problems that seem so real in this reality truly is an experience, and it is one of significance. But the higher dimensional being that just came in to give you its extreme perspective wanted to come in. It doesn't get called in regularly. And so it wanted to just let us know, let the vehicle know that it is, oh, wow, this is making her cry. She is such a leaky vehicle. She needs to have a service. And so the subconscious here is saying yes. So we'll just call in all the collectives to be able to get them to assist, because as the higher dimensional being said, there is many supporters who are supporting this, these spirals, because you're so supportive of each other. You buy into each other's dramas and worries, and ultimately truly your own drama and worry is your own personal life. Yes, you have certain people that are in your lives, but what is truly impacting you? You have to shrink down your worries and concerns to focus on just you. And of course, that does extend out to the people that you live with, because they are truly extensions of selves, just like you all are. But what we're trying to focus you on is what's truly going on for you. Every day is very palatable. There is no true days that are super overwhelming. It is very manageable. But when you're looking at the whole problem of humanity and knowing all of the dramas and everyone else's played out contracts and experiences, that does feel overwhelming. So think of humanity as that massive smorgasbord, and then look at your tiny little cupcake sized plate. And you've just had some nibbles of that cupcake, and it's very manageable. And you're going to be working through that cupcake through your own personal portion of your own personal experiences. When you just take responsibility of your own personal life, doesn't that feel instantly lighter, realizing you're not here to solve the world? The world is to have independent individual experiences to solve itself.
Indeed. Indeed. I like that.
We thought you would. And so we are going to just give a little bit more separation and epiphanies to those people who are realizing some of their very good friends are leaning on them too much to be able to help them see the bigger perspective of that 15 mils of water, which was just used in that analogy. And we like that one, so we're going to take it. And when you realize that while you can love each other and support each other, do not love other people's problems as if it's your own. That is sharing. The vehicle loves this saying, which is sharing is caring. And we say sharing your shit with other people and expecting them to fix it is not caring. And so remember, when you want to help everyone and buy into their own personal worries, you're densifying yourself for your own personal issues that are not even yours. Sorry, we will correct that because we had talking to the vehicle about something else. You often can buy into other people's problems and then apply them as if it's your own personal worries. And so just try to honestly see what is your one size portion cupcake, and do not try to ingest everyone else's food and their experiences and their workload. We may have tried to extend ourselves too much with the cute analogies and have fumbled over ourselves. But what we're trying to say is know what your true responsibilities are, to be able to know what really you do need to overcome and work on. You can love other friends and family who are working through their own inner work, but do not buy into their own issues, because they're not your contract. Your contract with each other is to love each other and support each other and sympathize with each other, but do not take their density from them, because you can't actually. You can't solve their problems by you carrying their stresses too. They must do their own inner work to learn and grow from these experiences. Therefore, you've just divided, but it's really multiplied that density, and you're both holding on to it and not doing anything with it, which is transmute it, learn from it, grow from it, celebrate it, jazz hands together it, and move on to the next experience, which is trying to keep you at a higher frequency vibration. So can you see how sometimes some friendships can be that two-legged man race? And the subconscious is saying, that was my analogy, I'm still going to use it.
Yes, I absolutely hear you and understand what you're saying. And yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough. And I've fallen in that trap myself. So I have to imagine that other people are as well.
It's tempting. It is tempting for many people who are so compassionate and love all their friends and family, who want to say, it's your extended friends, it's your extended families who are going through all these new changes. They must go through all of these new changes, but we're so worried for them, and we see all of these things that they have to overcome and learn from, that we worry. And, really check yourself. And we can't buy into that worry.
Mm-hmm. It seems daunting from this perspective, which might be funny to you because it's not that high. But seeing all or about what will unfold and just loving them so much, and it is daunting. But I hear you when you say it's not your problem, stay in your lane, and I absolutely understand what you're saying.
And we are saying, for those people who are questioning us, well, yesterday you said love everyone, and now you're saying don't support them in their traumas. We're saying you can love people and still not buy into their density. And you can still love people and not buy into their own personal worries and experiences that they can master and overcome. This is the reason why you must love them, taking their density and worry. We want to say something that is very serious. When you are reading posts on internet, when you are reading news stories about other people's tragedies, check. You're not trying to apply that situation as if it's your own personal experience. Many of you are buying into future worries for other people, and that won't even happen to other people, let alone for yourselves. So we understand lots of fear-based information is occurring right now, and many people are afraid of how the division is going to go even further with the pro and anti medical experiences. And so we want to say, stop buying into that fear. We are here. We are here. And your faith in us sometimes trips, and sometimes you react and live your lives with no faith of us at all. And so this is why you need to do your inner work to connect in with us so much, to be able to keep us on your speed dial, because you are so distracted and so faithless sometimes that you are struggling much harder. And so know your responsibilities, know what you need to personally overcome. And we feel like we've expressed it enough, but when you have no faith on us, and when you don't feel like we are there for you, that is a choice for you, but it is an incredibly challenging one.
Can I ask for epiphanies for people who are taking the option to buy into someone else's worry or a drama in the news or an event in the news that happened to other people? Can I ask for epiphanies for them to realize, oh, wait, this is really plummeting my density and not something I should be focused on?
Yes, unfortunately, they have to overcome the worry of being selfish, because it feels like a good thing to buy into other people's density emotions, to be supportive of them. And so when you don't want to put yourself in their position to buy into their fears and worries, the person who wants to support their friends, or a person online, or some really sad emotional life lesson experience that they've heard about, you feel that when you distance yourself and not buy into that emotionally and go down that emotional track, many people feel like suddenly, oh, I don't care about this person. This is terrible. Why am I not crying for them as well? Why am I not worried for them too, and about this too? And so it has to be people who have worries that they are selfish. They have to overcome that worry, knowing that it's not selfish, it is self-preservation. Know the difference.
I hear you. I'm trying to think of epiphany request. From your perspective, is there something that you see beneficial that we should ask? I'm asking with my free will for your opinion on this, because I would like to maximize this conversation with Santa.
We understand that we want to continue on with the analogy of the drowning in the toddler pool, and we want people, and we are going to be giving people the epiphany of their own personal life raft, where they realize from that different perspective, they are floating, they are buoyant, they are unsinkable, they are unsinkable, and that with their strength, we're showing the vehicle Rose, and we're pushing Rose off from the Titanic the movie, and we're jumping, we're putting Jack on the floating door, and we are saying there is enough room when you are strong enough and want to share, and it is very manageable, but you must stop playing in the pool and be able to float and empower yourself to then invite people on board.
That might have been the best analogy I've ever heard from you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, that scene was super annoying.
Yes, she was selfish because she didn't share, but from that movie, which is interesting that we're bringing up TV for you now. The reality is you all could see it, and yet she never considered, while she was safe, to be able to help others who were deep in it. And so she should have been able to use her leverage of that floating device to be able to support him up. However, if they had lived happily ever after, it wouldn't have been such a tearjerker, and it wouldn't have been as memorable. And so you're all remembering the challenges you're experiencing because they emote these different range of emotions. Remembering what you've come through, remembering what you've experienced. You only feel these emotions when you want to focus on them. And we say, drop them, let them go. See your reality, see what's truly impacting you. Notice that you're buying into future fears, noticing that you're buying into other people's realities of their fears, until you see things personally in your physical life impacting you. Then you get to master those experiences. But right now, many people are focusing on things that are not even possibly in their reality. It's not possible. They're not even going to be experiencing it.
Are we on the cusp of an event of some sort? And I'm not asking questions about what kind of event or when or what or where or anything like that, but something that will unite humanity, and so that those concerns about the children's waddling pool get dropped.
Unfortunately, we do not see that humanity will fully unite, but we can give you a percentage of the majorities, those who need to come together in their different collectives, knowing that it is not just us who come from different aspects, but the same with humanity. we understand that you like to see yourselves as a whole, and that is beautiful because we are all one. However, some of the different separations are significant because they're finding their own communities, because they're going in similar spaces, they're going into similar directions. You're asking us about an event, if it's going to occur, to be able to bring the world together, all of the occupants of this world together. There is not going to be one magic event that's going to bring everyone in balance and harmony, where you're all holding hands and singing Kumbaya. This is not going to be possible, and for very many reasons. And it is sweet of you to want to be able to have something that could possibly do that. The divisions are purposeful because there's lessons for it. You can see that you would have to have complete total changes of many people's life contracts to be able to find unity in all. We are saying you are excited about this possibility of unity for all, but this will not be in your third dimensional reality. So there will be many smaller events which will bring smaller groups of people together because they will be experiencing certain events that will bring them together on purpose. Everyone who is on certain locations are very significant to each other, because ultimately the communities that you form, not just online, but in your physical worlds, are very significant and important. And so whatever you do experience moving forward, you all have that in commonality.
Okay, thank you. I am curious to understand your perspective on why so many people are getting sick right now and what the higher perspective of that is.
So they have got some density from some either emotional blocks or some traumas, or some physical disalignment. And so, as you know, the bodies are morphing and changing and releasing the density. And so they are needing time to replenish. They are having upgrades. You've always known it is upgrades, but as you see, it is widespread, because it is widespread upgraded energy that is occurring on your planet in the certain locations that are noticing much more sicknesses. It is confusing to you because you did not even want to think that the COVID virus was even real. And in reality, it is merely but a name at this point, as many people are having these upgrades and these advancements on their physical bodies, but it needs to have an official label for people to be able to understand what is going on. Because if most people did not have any labels or understanding of what is going on in their bodies, they could panic and go into more worry and fear. It is a profound upliftment for many people to experience something that they have been afraid of for all of this year, and some to then realize it truly is survivable for them, and it really is merely but a cold.
I love that perspective. Thank you. That's very comforting to hear. Thank you.
We want to say, for those people who are worried and for those people who have extra traumas from other lifetimes that they need to release, yes, it will be not a fun cold. And so you need to release the density from the body one way or another and have more rest. And then when many of these people who have overcome this and healed from this, they will feel quite proud of themselves that their bodies made it through and that they are survivors. And then they will now find unity in communities of those survivors and be able to share those stories. And then something very perplexing is going to happen to them. They're going to wonder what all the fuss was about.
Can I ask for epiphanies for those people who have a change in opinion to be very confident and not be afraid of sharing their newfound truth and newfound perspective on the health situation and worldwide tyrannical events, lockdowns.
They're all purposeful, but yes, we understand that you do not like to be pushed around. But this is for those people who are still buying into the systems. Those people who are still buying into the systems and are getting pushed around, they're getting fed up because they're so loyal, they're so diligent, they're doing everything that they can, and yet they're still then positive for something they were pretty sure that they had protected themselves against. So they're having many epiphanies. And everything is purposeful, as everything is, as we always say, purposeful. But it's always easier for you to be able to hear it from our perspective of what things are, why things are unfolding as it is. And we know that you have the attachment of the emotions to worry and feel like things aren't going as they should be. And we are saying we are working hard and diligently. All of these people who are getting sick are having the epiphany. I survived. It actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't nice, but it was one day or one and some other days which wasn't comfortable, but those days will go fast. They will want to sleep, and it will their perception of time will go very fast. It's significant. It is truly beautiful, and it is amazing what we are doing to be able to help awaken humanity to itself.
Yes, thank you. Can I ask for another epiphany that the people who are newly awakened or have a new perspective, that the thought of someone that's in their life that they can speak to, that will love them and listen to them, that they'll get like a thought or a vision of that, or not a vision, but like a visual of that person to connect the two together, like really like shove them together, like as a matchmaker?
Yes, we will. And they know. And they will be so relieved that they are no longer in fear of this monster that they believed it was, that they will suddenly now be more open to having connections with people they have once previously disconnected themselves from, because they bought into the bigger fear and not the truth of it. And so can't you see how this is all unfolding? How when you buy into future fears and then you experience merely but mild symptoms of something you were thinking would kill you and most of humanity, isn't that a profound epiphany?
Indeed, and it's also very comforting hearing from you all. So I know everyone that, well, I hope everyone that listens is extremely grateful for this perspective and to better understand what's going on, because we do get in our own way quite often, as you know.
We would like to just remind people who are confused because they feel like they've done enough of their inner work to be no longer needing these upgrades. It is not about your emotional mindsets at this point. For some, it is their physical upgrades. And so please do not take it as a worry that you are not advancing, because it truly may not be the case. It is about your physical body advancing, and you're not releasing the density of emotions that you have not acknowledged. There is many different things happening for every single person. And so merely we are talking to so many, we are not able to articulate exactly what is happening for all. But we want to remind people to be able to feel what is working for you and what is happening to you. And if you are concerned of why you did get sick, you can ask your teams and they will guide you and let you know with reassurance of what is happening to your body and why.
Thank you. Second final question, second to last question. Are there any other epiphany requests that would help maximize humanity's ride on this roller coaster right now to make it more enjoyable? Is there anything that you see as beneficial for me to ask right now?
everyone to explore and develop the fine taste for the enjoyment of the emotion of hope and faith and trust and love, and for all to be able to feel the pure intensity of the love from source, the love from all, and for them to allow this energy of love to be received and accepting it, and not dismiss it through some unworthy assumption. You are constantly surrounded with love, and not many of you want to accept it. When you accept profound love, you are able to then be of better service. This is significant.
Thank you. Okay, next question. Are there any general updates that you would like to give us, or anything that you would like to discuss that we have not touched upon yet?
We will be guiding the vehicle to continue on with her new channel. This is significant because people will see the authenticity of the channel and of the information, and they will finally be able to separate her from us. And we're grateful that she has overcome somewhat her own inner work to be able to be of assistance for this.
Great. Thank you all so much.
You're welcome. We want to just finally say that everyone who loves humanity and loves this planet is sending their deepest encouragement and support and love and guidance to all who are on this planet, who are still trying to understand whether they want to step into full trust, full faith, full empowerment, full love, and full service. We understand it is a step out of your 3D distractions. But for those who feel this calling, please understand you are protected and guided when you are of service. You are more powerful than you allow yourself to recall. Being of service is a privilege here on this planet, and we understand many are stepping up. We say this with great gratitude and love.
Thank
Hi everyone, Joe here. That was an interesting and intensive session with Erin that I just had, and I will need to listen back to it to hear it, but I do know that it was, from their perspective, very easy and very purposeful, and all is well. And they are hoping that we get more clarification on our responsibilities and our duties, and feel empowered to step up and be of service for them, so then they can assist us even more so. So it was fantastic. And also I got another calling, mission, purpose that they have been speaking to me privately about, which is something I have had to overcome to do, which is creating a new channel, which is titled I'm That Girl. And so they're wanting me to show myself on camera and be able to speak my truth and my understanding and my comprehension of the information that is being given about the purpose of 3D living and spirituality and a whole lot of other stuff that I get called to discuss. They're smaller videos, and you get to see me and all of my discomfort as I'm trying to give big information that I want to share with you all, while knowing that every little twitch and every little micro expression that I have on my face gets read. So it's interesting to watch myself channel, and it is interesting to see how I try to verbalize this information in the most important or the most appropriate way. And it seems like this is the bridge that many people have been needing, to see actually that I am very much still a real person, and I want to be more comfortable in front of the camera, and I will try my best to get there. So this is just something that I want to be of service with and be able to help. I would have preferred not to have, obviously, but this seems to be something that they are needing from me. And when you get information from your teams asking you to do something, it's not really, I mean, obviously it is like a high recommendation. Lots of people take it as a suggestion, and lots of people dismiss it because they're not interested. And I know that this information is bigger than me, and I'm merely just the vehicle, and I want to be able to explain it and interpret it the most appropriate way possible. Some of the inner work I've had to do to be able to overcome my concerns being addressed, so I want to take responsibility of my own inner work as well, and overcome this to be of best service for all. So I just wanted to discuss this with you and invite you to anyone who is interested in seeing me try to explain this information the best that I can in palatable sizes of videos. And maybe this is something that you would be more open to sharing with your friends who are spiritual but just need some updated information. I try not to go too crazy woo-woo. I know people who listen to these sessions and who have been for a year know the bigger information, and it does take quite a bit of time to prepare emotionally, mentally, for all the information that we get, including the shift and the events that need to take place for that. So I'm trying to keep it as supportive as possible without going into too much detail. So I hope that this does help assist many, and I always encourage you all to find your purpose and your service, and be able to help not just yourself but humanity at this important time. Okay, I do really appreciate and I do love you all, and I hope you're finding these messages empowering, because that is literally what their hope and agenda is, for you to be able to be empowered with your own lives and yourselves and your perspectives and your mindsets, to be able to encourage others who are not as fortunate as you, who are already so in tune with what's going on. So much love to you, and once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate all those incredible people that have been supporting me for this long. It is such a marathon, and hopefully when we do as much inner work as we can and support each other the best way we can, we will see this shift and this blessing for humanity to occur sooner rather than later. Much love.